Welcome to the 16th segment of Be Inspired with Buzapat, life-changing reality talk. I am Honorable Ambassador Buzapat Osigwe, and I am so grateful. I'm happy to be here today. And I just want us to know something, that when I get to the end of my best, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, morally, physically, and psychologically, grace takes over. Grace takes over for me. By strength shall no man prevail. So in whatever you do or you're doing and you're excelling in it, it is grace that is making the difference for you. When grace speaks for you, a lot of things actually begins to work well. So, and that is why this platform allows us to embrace our truth that leads to our freedom. Today, we'll be talking on the topic substance abuse. Believe me, this is one thing that has taken sleep off my eyes so many times. Substance abuse. What is going on in our society is crazy. It's something that we don't even know what to do about it. But the only right we have today is that we will continue to speak our truth, believing that every life will touch positively, that we may have touched 50 in disguise. That is our consolation. So what is substance abuse? We will say that substance abuse is a pattern of a harmful use of a substance with intention of mood altering purposes. Whenever you are taking something that will alter your mood on purpose, it's substance abuse. Don't forget that abuse is when you're using a substance abnormally. You know that you are abusing that thing. So what exactly am I saying? What exactly am I saying? We do this thing always. The society is going gaga based on substance abuse. I am not just saying this. For over a decade, I have been organizing youth conference on say no to drug addiction. I've been organizing work against drug addiction. I've been having workshops on drug addiction and seminars on them. So I am not just an advocate. I have been a voice screaming against the dangers of drug addiction. Believe me, it's been very terrible. It's been very terrible. But you know what? It is important and a responsibility that we will be able to speak this truth and provide us with the right awareness to this thing. Believing that yes, so many people don't have opportunity to hear from home, that they will hear from anywhere they see it. And when we talk about this, and we talk, what are these things? What are these drugs that people abuse? Most times it's heroin, it's caffeine, it's inhalants, marijuana, methadone, crystal meth, bendazole, oscodine, tobacco, amphetamines. There's so many of them. Alcoholic as well. So many type of conca mixture that we have decided to be using in this generation right now. You can't believe it that there are people who sniff fear. Even pit toilets, as sad as it may sound, people do it. Codeine, they carry this and mix to this. Even some people smoke vegetables. You can't believe it. But that's the society we're in. That is where we are. That is the we right now. So what do we do? What exactly can we say is the causes of this? We've had a lot of things that could come as causes. And then we need to spell it out for our people, believing that yes, that a day starts a story that somebody will hear. Most times we have family history, genetics. Some people is in their family. They are so comfortable that their great-great-grandfather did drugs. their grandfather did drugs, their grandfather did drugs, their father is doing drugs, and so they are comfortable with it. But there's no way you can go. That's not a way to go at all. Some people too, is out of curiosity. That's why we say that when you have self-love, you will be able to tame yourself from a lot of things. Curiosity has made a lot of our youth to enter into drugs, not because they willingly want to, but they have tested what another friend is offering them. Peer pressure, lack of proper parental guides. There are some, what some parents don't understand is that there's a big difference between nature and nurture. Anybody can give birth, anybody can reproduce, but it's in the nurture that is where the job of the parenting starts. Most people are just comfortable and happy that they have reproduced, and they'll just let them hit the street like that. They don't ever do the parenting, and that's the problem we're having in the society. Substance abuse is something, most times it's correctional, but the parents are not actually doing anything. So we have depression. The things that could we're talking about causes, the thing that could make somebody just go and start taking drugs. We have there are most times drugs that are legally recommended, you can become addictive to it, and it's a problem. Some people after accident, they recommend very high dosage of this painkiller for them and all that induces them and all that, and they don't ever get out of it. They stay in it. It's still abuse. Some are into cultism. Gangsterism and cultism has made a lot of youths mislead. It has misled them, and it has taken them off from their normal destiny. It has altered their destiny because that's exactly who they are. Okay? And then self-medication. A lot of people have gone into substance abuse through overdose, underdose, and wrong doses. They recommend a whole lot for themselves instead of looking for a professional to actually recommend what you can take if you think you're not okay. They will do the underdose for themselves, the wrong doses, and the overdose for themselves. It's substance abuse. A lot of people have this negative impact on societal. There are a lot of things, we go to the media, we see a whole lot in the media. Most of the people who run adverts on tobacco, on cigarette, on all this nicotine and all this horrible this thing, they will end up telling you, oh, it's dangerous to health. Why run the advert? Why don't you just keep it for those who can willingly come? But no, society is not letting it be. They will run the promo, they will jam the advert, they will do all these things, and then the ignorant few will enter into it, and they are making their businesses and they are selling. When we talk about this, it is painful. It is really very painful. That we have this societal influence on our youth. Our generations are going gaga based on this, and I don't know how we're going to come out of it. Substance abuse is terrible. And then when we talked about the causes, curiosity, we talk about genetics, we talk about inferiority complex, and we talk about fake life. A lot of people just want to belong. They just want to belong. They see people who are living dirty lifestyle, but they are not confident enough to stand on their own. They want to belong, and they jam in, and they are becoming what they are not, and they don't care because they are living fake. They want to appear what they're not. And they start taking this substance, and they alter their destiny completely. They alter their destiny completely, and then society is suffering for it. And then after all these causes, what will we say? There are the signs that you see for you to know that somebody you used to know is actually doing this drug thing. We talk about this, and we now look at it as, okay, fine. The signs are there. When all of a sudden somebody you used to know will now become very, as in dull and moody. The person is dull and moody. What do we say to such person? You don't know what is going on with this person. Somebody is losing interest in something they used to love before. Even on themselves, they are appearing unkept, always tired, always sad, and most times they are so, this one is not hyperactive, they are so energetic all of a sudden. Somebody that cannot get worried because something is actually wrong with the person, and the person you may not know. Somebody that doesn't used to talk before will not be talking too much. Most of them restlessness. Most of them missing important appointments without excuse. Most of them so aggressive, with little provocation. They are so aggressive, A lot of them too, you notice, by they lose appetite for no reason. A lot of them are having relationship issues, both at home with anybody. They can't just get along with anybody. Something is wrong. There are all signs of substance abuse. When somebody is just there, and you a neat person, all of a sudden somebody sleeps, always in a bad mood, always in a sad mood, 24 hours, and then something is wrong. And when you notice this thing, the person needs help, whether the person admits it or not. That is why we're here. That is why we are creating awareness for ourselves. That is why we're doing this ourselves. Because the danger is that addiction is dangerous. It is damaging. It is destructive. It is deadly. When addiction, it causes a domestic violence. Half of the domestic violence cases that we have are all tied to substance abuse. You see depression is part of it. You see sexual assault. There are people that they couldn't hurt a fly, and they tell you that they rape people. Most of them are all under the influence of substance abuse. Because sexual assault is part of it. You see them, it's not just about committing suicide. Suicidal thoughts are there. It begins with the suicidal thoughts, and then the suicidal attempt, and then the deed itself, the suicide itself. It all begins with that. When they have no control over the things that are happening to them. This is not just about our youth. Why I am worried about our youth? Because the generation, they are the future leaders, and they are vulnerable. Some people is all in all ages. You will just see a 95-year-old person, 80. It has nothing to do with age. This corruption has gone in. This bad mess has messed up the society. We don't need to talk about what is going on in schools and everywhere right now. When the last time I did the youth conference on Say No to Drug Addiction, that so many, more than 2,000 students came around for the awareness and everything. I got both the NAFTAC and everybody, all the reputable speakers to speak. A principal got back to the school and started calling my phone. When I picked my phone, he said, Madam, that I should come to their school, that behind their fence, that students are smoking. And I said, are you serious? Students are smoking behind your fence. You're a principal of a school. Do you know that being a principal of a school is just like you being a pastor of a church? I'll be a father, a parent to some people. That the lives and destiny of those children are in your care. If you're not qualified, then you should go and hand over your resignation. Because you can call authority. Then what do you want? I have done my bit. By creating awareness, by inviting you, by doing the ones you cannot do yourself. So this one now is on you. The call is yours to make. So I told the person, I said, now, let's not deviate, because we are still talking about the dangers of it. Dangers of substance abuse is still tied to, we talked about suicide, we talked about school dropout. There are so many destinies that have been wasted, derailed. Presidents in making, governors in making, bank managers, so many things. But because of substance abuse, they dropped out of school without even finishing. Now, and they became dropouts and they became pals. Not because they were meant to be like that, but they shows that is one of the dangers of substance abuse. It takes you off from your destiny. It derails you. It closes you off from the real you, and leave you petty, leave you as in a total stranger to who you're supposed to be. Then you lead to truancy too. It reduces your body immune. It destroys your immune completely. That you're open to a whole lot of sicknesses. And we're not talking about anxiety attack and all that it does. We're not talking about other criminal activities that it can push you into, stealing and all that. It does that because once you're under the influence of what you don't know, abusing substances, you can do anything. The sicknesses are a no. You can't even require. You're not in control of what happens to you. If you go to hospitals, you will see young children, diabetes, stroke, kidney, a stone everywhere. As in sicknesses that you can only imagine before now is with us. Is with us, and it's happening in the life of small children because they have exposed themselves to substance abuse. When they cannot, as in the last time I did this program last month last 2 months in June, I gave a lot of videos. You will see a child that is not up to 2 years, and adults were propping the child. Adults were giving. We saw students in school that were sent to go to school. We saw them smoking their lives away. We saw people in parties where they cooked marijuana or whatever they mixed with teeth. Most times they mix more than 7-10 different conca mixtures inside there, and they are smoking. We saw them fainting, falling on each other, misbehaving, doing a whole lot of bad things. That is what it does. It just destroys their person completely. Go to Yaba left, you will see a lot of mad cases, a lot of mad people. Substance abuse have made a lot of people crazy. It has destroyed a lot of people and had thrown parents to mourning. A lot of abnormal, untimely deaths there. I've seen somebody after substance abuse, the person threw herself from 4-story building and landed and died. That is somebody's child. That is somebody's investment. That is somebody's hope. Substance abuse is something that we cannot, no matter what we try to do, our society needs to say capital N-O to it. So what do? We have talked about the causes. We have talked about the type of drugs that people take. We have talked about the signs that we can see. And then we talked about the danger. So how do we really prevent this thing? What do we do? Like I said, that nature is different from nurture. It's not just enough for you to give birth to children and just leave them. Nurturing them, proper parental guide is very, very important. It's very important that we need to really, really look into the lives of our children, know what they do, and openly talk about drugs with them. We need to talk about the dangers of drug addiction. We need to talk about drugs. Days are gone when you say, oh, there's no need to bring up soft topic. If you don't bring it, school system will bring it for you. If you don't bring up the topic in home, peer pressure will bring it. Their classmates will bring it. And when they bring it to them, it is test and see, nothing is there, just test. If you don't check where your children go to, then we go into parties where they cook waste for them to drink, to eat, in form of rice and all that. So you should really look into the proper parenting thing. Is that you must look into the things that they are doing. You must look into where they go to, and they must learn to make their uni very small. You must save into the friends that your children are keeping. All these things are very, very important. You must believe in yourself, because you believe in yourself and believe that you can, because a change begins with just a decision. A decision, that's how a change begins. So you must make up your mind to change completely. I have never ever seen a life that when a soul is determined for a positive change, nothing can stop that soul. Nothing can stop a determined soul on fire for a positive change. Nothing can stop it. And then ability to say no, capital N-O. There's no need to have doubt. There's no need to mince your words. Whenever you're called for such, you have to learn to say no. Say no to drugs. Say no to substance abuse. It's your right. You need to own it. You need to start, like I said, limit your friends and actually look at them. Then impulse control. Don't do spontaneous things just because you can. Always think about whatever it is that you're doing. Always think about it. And when people come to you with some suggestions, you need to really receive it and then look at them eyeball to eyeball and tell them, I am not in for this. I am not. Then another thing again, we have to be prayerful. There's no way you can ever stop a habit or stop if you're not prayerful. You must put everything in God. Good life is all tied to godliness. You have to really allow God to make a way for you in so many ways. You must fight denial. The moment we do all these things, okay, and then we will reach out for professional help. If you think that you're trying and it's not helping, that you're still being drawn. When you cut out the avenues where these things are drawn to you, you need to really watch out and then look for external help, a professional help that will tell you how to go about it, because it's better you don't. And if you're in it, start coming out. Like I said, it's very deadly, it's very destructive, it's damaging, and it's very dangerous. It is not a thing that is negotiable at all. This is the reason why we're here, because this thing I'm saying is a way of telling you I love you, is a way of telling you I care for you, is a way of telling you that I'm committed to this, is a way of telling you, okay, that this I am very passionate about seeing that everybody becomes okay. Because if you're okay in your own house, it is wickedness and selfishness that is making us think that when another person's child is okay, that it has nothing to do with you. When another person's child is okay, they could be the ones that will be the owners of companies that where your children will work. So you never can tell who the life will bless. Sitting among these people we're trying to save right now, there are presidents, there are governors, there are CEOs, there are ambassadors, there are ministers. You never can tell, because nobody can decide a child that can rule the world or can give the best. We've had instances of where somebody that they helped somewhere later become the medical doctor that saved the life of the person who helped. But when the person was helping that person, he was helping a low life person that never for one day believed that the person can be of use in any form, in any way. But it sure happened. So what am I saying? We need to be very, very careful what we do with our lives. Society is in turmoil. Society is in a total mess. It's a mental mess. And then having the ideal society that we so crave is a collective effort. It's not a one person thing. We should stop being greedy and selfish. Parents should stand up and know that anybody you think that you have what it takes today, that your children cannot, it is that same children that you have locked up, that you have given the best, that will still go to the street and meet this one. They will meet them in churches, they will meet them in schools, they will meet them in marketplace, they will meet them in football pitch, they will meet them anywhere. So it's better we try all we can to see that we have an ideal society, irrespective of who child is it. When we save one, we save 50. When we save two, we save 100. When we save 5, we have saved 5,000. That is how it is, and we should learn to understand that there's no other way we can do this. Knowledge is the best thing, because experience is no longer the best teacher. Most people don't live to tell the story afterwards. So whenever you hear things like this, that's why knowledge is power. Grab the one you can and run in it. If you change your life today, you've done yourself a whole lot of good. Society is crazy. The temptation, go to so many houses, go to the field, go to all the back of all the estates. What you will see is our youth smoking their lives away. And when do we think this is going to end? When do we think it's going to, even if the medication were rightfully given to you based on something, when that need, if you had an accident, if you're sick and you're given a medication, once it's done, stop it. No matter what, don't get used to it, don't get addicted. Don't get addicted to it, don't bother. Because if you do, you're going to pay for it in ways that are beyond you. So many homes are scattered. So many families. Brothers don't know brothers. Sisters don't know sister. Parents don't even know their children because of substance abuse. He has destroyed a whole lot of root and foundations of family, decent families. He has destroyed them. What am I saying? We've got what it takes. Substance abuse is something that is killing societies, even from head to toe, from A to Z, from high class. Tell me, most of these people you envy and want to be like, if you get close to them, you will not even want to be like them. They are junkies. Their lives are terrible. The way they live their life, the things that you think that makes them, they are just packaging. When you see them on the street, you want to be like them. Get inside, they have wasted what they can't even stand up to do anything without being high. But everybody needs to know that you don't need to be high for you to be heard. If you're a musician, you don't need to be high to sing. God has given you the talent. Look inside yourself, make it up. Whatever it is that you're doing, you don't need substance abuse to become better in that thing. You need to let the you take over you so that you can become better in all the things that you're doing. In every single way, we can change this world, because reality is that we have what it takes to change this world. But with substances like this, we can't, because we are no longer in charge of what we do. When you want to say A and you do B, then you're crazy already. So many cases. We need to have a better society, and how do we earn it? We need to work on it, and we need to hear ourselves. We need to be our brother's keeper, and that is exactly what I'm doing. This is me loving you, giving you my love, and this is me telling you that yes, this is even the number one fear of God and the work that He has asked us to do. Honestly, even if you're an alcoholic, a GHB, a tobacco, whatever, an amphetamine, you need to stop now. Stop now. Substance abuse, abnormal, anything that alters your mood on purpose, you need to stop it. Be who you are, because society is crazy right now. Everywhere you go to, you don't need government. You don't need to wait for government. What are government doing? My dear, rehabilitation center is so expensive that you can't even get into there on your own. And why do you need to go and waste so much money for you to get back yourself when you're supposed to be in control right now? When you're supposed to be in control right now. Let's shun drug abuse. Let's shun substance abuse. Let's shun it with all our heart and might and soul. When you hear this, I don't know where you are. If friends are bringing you, cut up those friends. Cut up the circle that you're in that is introducing you to substance abuse. You don't need it. If they tell you that it's going to hire you, tell them that Holy Ghost is the number one hire. Call on them, go, and you will be so high in the thing you're doing, and you'll be so excellent in it. All these negative vibes that we're getting from this is not. We need to run with the positive vibes. There's a standard of living for every one of us. You don't need substance abuse to become the best you can. No, because it destroys. It does not ever do anybody any good. I'm telling you. And so when we do this prevention thing, we will be better off for it. Then what else do I need to tell us today? Honestly, let's shun drug. Say capital no to drug addiction, to drug abuse, to substance abuse of any kind. Shun the friends that are introducing you. Please. You don't need it for any reason whatsoever. You are better off the way you are, and society will appreciate you for the you that God has created. You've got a lot. You're loaded, and you've got a lot of things to give to us in this. The generation is waiting for you. Your exploit is. We're waiting for it. We need you to show us what you are made of, the stuff you're made of. But you don't need to be high to show us. You don't need the substance abuse in any form, in any way. You don't need to be in the gangsterism. You don't need to be in the cultic thing. You don't need to be that person that is into that substance abuse. No, you don't need to be. Be yourself. Let the causes that I've listed out, when you get into this video, you had to know. You get to the causes and see it. When you see it, curb it. You see the signs, you see the dangers of it, and you now check how to prevent it. My dear, we are better off being in a decent society. Killing every single way. Half of the people killing are not normal. So how do you even reason with somebody that is high? Go to our checkpoints. Half of the people there are high. When you're stopping, park, they are shooting. You people who are meant to protect you are killing you because substance abuse is in charge. They are already on top, under the influence of something that is beyond them. Everywhere you put your head, people who are high are operating. How can you operate on substance abuse? How can you live in a normal society? Husbands are killing their wives, domestic violence because they are high. It's either the wife is high or the husband is high. And after that, eyes are cleared. Your eyes are cleared, and when it's clear, you say it's Satan. You cannot be calling Satan when you have control over. Call on God, and you can be the best in everything. In every area of your weakness, call on God. He will give you the strength you need to be the best you can be. There's nothing impossible for God to do. There's nothing impossible in that area. Even if you are an addict right now, you can stop it with the strength that is coming from above. You can stop it. You can become that same person. Look, I want to leave you here today knowing that drug can do you nothing. That you need to learn how to say capital N-O to it. As a family man, you don't need drug. In whatever you are doing that you're having an abnormal use or from mood swinging, it is abuse. It is abuse, and you need to stop it. And so don't forget to link up on our Be Inspired on our YouTube channel, Be Inspired with Buzopat, Instagram, and here, be with us here. Every single time we say our truth as led. We say our truth, and we'll continue to speak our truth, because that is the only thing that leads to our freedom. And we know that somehow God is in, and He's watching, and He cannot come down to speak. He can only send people. It's easier for us to read our Bible and read about Ezekiel, read about Jeremiah. In this our era, a lot of people are Jeremiahs, a lot of people are Ezekiels, a lot of people are David, a lot of people are there, but you are commonizing those things coming from them, because you don't know that infinite wisdom comes from above. Let's learn to pick what we can. Let's grab what we can anywhere we see wisdom speaking, so that the rest, God will do it for us. Let's do our best and leave the rest for God. Thank you. Meet you next week Wednesday by 2 p.m. as usual. We'll always have something to share about. Don't forget, be the best you can be. God loves you. Thank you.